Thursday, the 19th of July. Hope everybody's having an absolutely amazing day. Welcome to the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Going to do what we do each and every morning here in the Daily Market Commentary, identify potential breakout trades and turning points, but leaving the lines on the charts. For those of you new to the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So I'm going to begin with the S&P 500, and we're seeing a slight slowing of momentum on our rally on the hourly chart. You can see that the momentum is waning a little bit. Now, a lot of people would use indicators to do that. I can just see by the move up, but I'm going to add the indicators on so everyone can see what it is I'm talking about. So what I mean by that is I've got higher swing highs here in price, but lower swing highs in my momentum indicator. Now, the momentum indicator I use to do this is called the MACD. The MACD is moving average convergence divergence. And really what I look for primarily in the MACD is when I have higher swing highs in price, but lower swing highs in the MACD. So the way, the analogy that I like to use is that basically think about throwing a ball up in the air. When you throw a ball up in the air, as it goes up, it's slowing down before it reverses and starts to come back down. And this is just a measurement of how fast it's slowing down. That's all this is. Now, when these things happen, so here was another example of it. When these things happen, it doesn't necessarily always mean that that it's going to crash, but what it does mean is that since we're slowing down, we can expect a deeper pullback, right? A slightly deeper pullback in this case. So look at it on a 4-hour chart, and you'll see it's even more prevalent on a 4-hour chart, right? On a 4-hour chart, I've got let me get rid of all these other lines here. I'm looking at swing highs and swing lows on this 4-hour chart, and swing high, swing high, swing high, and then this is higher lows, but I've got swing low, swing low, swing low. So I've got lower swing lows on the 4-hour chart on the MACD, higher swing highs on the price chart. So it's just continuous dropping of momentum. That's the thing that I'm paying attention to. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that I think that the markets are going to come falling apart, but I think that we do have a little bit of a pullback in us when I see this occurring. So just kind of keep that in mind as we're looking at positions that I'm going to be highly, I guess the word would be unlikely to take a small time frame long in this scenario, since the bigger picture time frame is telling me that I've got a slightly weakening momentum. I have room to roam. I have room for price to keep going higher, no doubt about that. But just because I have room for price to keep going higher doesn't mean that I'm gonna, forget about this area here. I don't think, and I mentioned this yesterday on the recording, I don't think this is a great area for a reversal. So, but I'm also going to be a little cautious of some areas that are below current price to go long. So for now, I'm going to kind of leave this one be and look at the Nasdaq. Now, the Nasdaq, we already have lower swing highs in price, right? So the Nasdaq has already given us lower swing highs in price, and as we're entering into earnings season, there's going to be a slight variance between what the Nasdaq does and what the S&P does in earnings season, especially. I'm not sure how many of you caught the long off of here and have been able to ride this for a while. I'm going to remove this area for now because we've already traded into it, and we traded into it, twice with a little bit of deeper penetration the second time in. So I'm going to remove this area for now. And I've got to look for another area that I would be willing to get long if price comes back down. Well, what about my shorts? I'm not willing to short it yet at all. You can get burnt pretty hard when you're shorting off of an all-time high. It's one thing if I've got, like I had a tiny little level here yesterday that I had a potential short set up in. I could potentially, but obviously that blew right through. So I could potentially have a short set up in this region here. Some people may even take a breakout short. I'm not a huge fan of either one of those. So if I'm going to look at a short, I'm probably going to be more apt to shorting the S&P on a breakdown. And that breakdown would be probably below, call it below 2806 is really where I would look for a potential breakdown short, is below that area there. Your first target would be, right down in here at this little buying area here. Although I don't know that would be enough to stop it. I really kind of like price getting down to this 2762 region again. That could be a potential target for price. All right. Crude oil. So let's look at crude oil. Crude oil, we did bounce off of our little 15-minute level, and we've used that entire level up. So some of you may have gotten a bit of that crude oil play. So if you got that crude oil play, more power to you, as it rallied up to what our profit target would be, which is the gap fill and as well as this fair price value area. So looking at it now, let me go out to the bigger time period, the 4-hour chart. We are still in a pretty strong downward trend in crude, and I think there's room for it to kind of keep falling. So just keep an eye on what it is you're going to do on that. We reversed a little bit at this 4-hour level. But we haven't gotten a huge reversal off of this 4-hour level, so I don't think it's gonna reverse there again when we come back in. So I'd be more apt to look at shorts than I would be to look at longs. So as I move down to the hourly chart, you're gonna have a little bit of a potential opportunity here, but we need to get a little pop up today in order to even get back up to that area. I'm not sure that's a full point just about from where we are right now, so I'm not sure that we would get that nice of a pop. But we very well could, and that could be a decent area. Gold, we had our short below this area here. Price has done a nice move off of that short from a breakdown perspective. Looking at it on a daily chart, we've got this area down here, which is where we're sitting right now. Well, this is just a retest of this area here to the left. And so gold is not looking, all that glitters isn't gold when you are, if you're still trying to pick bottoms on this thing. It's continuing its drop. Gold's dropped over $135, $145 an ounce here in the last few months. Really, really, really strong drop. I love this area up here. This is a daily time period. If we do get a multi-day rally, this area up here becomes a really nice short entry going forward. Now, this is daily, so just keep that in mind as well. Bonds. So bonds, we finally have broken below our little breakout area that we've had here since kind of the end of June, as that one has fallen down in. So that one could continue its move down. Keep an eye on that one. Monitor your stops. The Aussie, price hit our entry on the Aussie, and we definitely hit our profit target and a bit more. So I'm going to take this area off, and that was a very nice trade. Hopefully, we're able to grab some profits on that Aussie trade. And then the euro, we almost came back into it, weren't able to, and now we're almost back into it again. So keep an eye on this one as well as our Canadian level. So both of those could meet entry today. The Aussie was a good one though for those of you that were able to catch it. Great British Pound, Nat Gas, and Japanese Yen. So Nat Gas, our breakdown area, still holding strong, looking good. Your stop should probably be moved down to at least this area here to lock in some profit. Great British Pound is not quite yet to our area that we found yesterday. Now, I found this on a daily chart, so bigger picture time period. And then the Japanese Yen breakdown as well from our triangle pattern is continuing its run lower. So all of our currency breakouts are really what's moving, what's been more advantageous for us are some of the breakouts in currencies and some of the reversals. So for those of you that are trading those currencies, you're hopefully being justly rewarded. So, all right, everybody. Well, that's all I have for today. If you've got any questions, please send me an email, chuck@iiefinancial.com. I will talk to you all tomorrow.